how's it going? If you're not familiar with this YouTube channel, this is a backpacking YouTube channel. And I just sent the best pair of hiking shoes that I ever owned into Hoka because they offered me an upgrade to the shoe for free. I sent in my 2017 Hoka Kona Clayton, which was to celebrate the Ironman race on the island of Kona in Hawaii. And I exchanged it for this one, the 2019 Hoka Kona Mach 2. And unfortunately, this is the wrong shoe for me. And so after getting it in the mail, I kind of went on the Hoka website and I kind of dialed in what went wrong, you know, how I ended up with the wrong shoe. I went from the best shoe that I ever owned to a shoe that I don't think I might not use. So I went on the website and I kind of tried to figure out what exactly happened. Basically, you know, Hoka, they make running shoes, and this is an ultra lightweight shoe. So if you're into ultra lightweight or super ultra lightweight, this is a 7.5 ounce shoe, so it's 7.5 ounces approximately. And in the world of shoes, that is apparently very light. The way that they did that is they narrowed the toe box, they shaved off the edges of the toe box, and they got rid of an ounce. If you want the wide toe box, you can go 1 ounce up to 8.5 ounces with the Clifton 6, which is like the go-to shoe from Hoka that they recommend for everybody. But there's also another difference between this Mach 2 and the Clifton 6. Hoka makes training shoes which are soft and squishy and have a Maximus Dream foam in the midsole. And they also make race day shoes. The race day shoes are firm and snappy and responsive. All right, but race day shoes are intended to be used just for that one day of the race because a firm, protective midsole promotes foot fatigue and relaxes the illusion of propulsion. When you have a really soft heel and a firm, snappy, exaggerated rocker, that makes it feel easier to run. It makes it feel like you're being pushed forward, like by a ghost. It isn't easier to run in a shoe that has a soft heel and a snappy rocker, but it feels like it's easier to run. And so you end up training harder, you end up running faster and farther more often. And so that on race day, your muscles are prepared to do that again, but you use a firmer, more snappy and responsive shoe like this one. Now, Hoka actually make this same shoe in the same weight, but with a soft, cushiony midsole that's intended for training, and it's called the Rincon. And it's named after a surf spot in Australia, so that kind of like brings me back to this shoe. There's a few funny things about this shoe. First of all, the Mach 2 has got a Spider-Man Halloween costume, like spiderweb thingy on the front. If you're in love with Spider-Man, like for instance, there's a Golden State Warrior named Klay Thompson who's dating one of the actors from Spider-Man. So if you're in love with Spider-Man, then you're in luck. The Mach 2 has got the Spider-Man costume on it. And it's also got a little flower here, but to be honest with you, you can barely see the flower. And when you're dealing with shoes that have graphics on them, if the graphics are around the ankle, you can easily cover that up with track pants, or with any kind of pants, with hiking pants or track pants. As soon as you put on a pair of pants, it's going to cover up those graphics, and people aren't going to see it anymore. And so the graphics on the shoe really are a way of the shoe company letting the world know about the shoe, getting people to notice the shoe so that they might buy the shoe. But they're only going to do that with a shoe that they want people to notice and that they want people to buy, because they know it's a winning shoe. They know that anybody who uses the shoe is going to be happy about it. Whenever the graphic is on the ankle like this, it means that you can cover it up with your pants and people aren't going to see it, and that really reduces the wow factor. That really reduces the number of people who are going to be interested in the shoe. So the way that I learned about that actually was with Salomon. Salomon has a graphic shoe with tie-dye on it called the Odyssey Triple Crowner, and it's tie-dye. But once you get a hold of the shoe, most of the tie-dye is around the ankle, so that when you wear pants, it covers it up, so that the toe is actually it looks very similar to this. It's like dark blue, and you don't really see the tie-dye as soon as you put pants on. And the shoe really doesn't perform that great. So it's like Salomon never really wanted a lot of people to know about the shoe, and so that's why they put the graphics on the ankle, because it's easier to cover up the graphics with your pants if the graphics are on the ankle. So that really made me kind of wary of the shoe. Not to mention that the Rincon, which is exactly the same shoe as this, but with a soft training foam, is $45 less and is named after an awesome surf spot in Australia. So they obviously want people to buy that Rincon instead of the Mach 2. This is $160 and the Rincon is only $115. So, let's just dial it in and just talk about exactly what do you get when you buy a Hoka. What should you look for? Basically, there's three things. There's the weight, okay? So this one is like the lightest. It kind of bounces from like 7.5 ounces on up to 8.5 ounces. And then if you add some comfort, as you add comfort, you're adding weight. You add 1 more ounce up to 9.5 ounces per shoe, and you get a more comfortable shoe. But then there's also two different kinds of materials that they use in the midsole and outsole. So on the outsole, they use tough rubber. Okay, now that's what you want. Vibram sells lugs to other companies, okay? But they don't allow other companies to use Vibram tough lugs. And I'll show you one right here. I have this. This is a Vibram tough lug right here. But this is on a Vibram shoe. All right, this is a Vibram 5-finger shoe, and they allow their own shoe companies to use the tough rubber. Vibram does not allow other companies like Hoka to use their tough rubber. So if you want Vibram tough rubber, you have to buy a shoe from Vibram. So if you want tough rubber on a shoe that isn't from Vibram, you have to get what's just called tough rubber. And the tough rubber is working very well. So I'm going to show you some examples. The Lone Peak 4.0 uses tough rubber lugs, and they're good. These are still on here, okay? This is good stuff. All right, same thing with the Olympus. These are tough rubber lugs, all right, and they're good. These are good. They're not coming off very easy, and it's awesome, okay? Same thing, I got a Predict here. Okay, Salomon overall, across the board, Salomon always uses tough rubber lugs, and Salomon, it's pretty good. Right now in 2019, 2020, you want to buy a shoe that just says it has tough rubber lugs, not Vibram lugs, unless you're buying it from Vibram, okay? The other issue with Hoka is that they've got the training shoe and the race day shoe, and those two different shoes use two different kinds of EVA midsole, okay? So the race day midsole, which is firm and protective, is called ProFly. Now the thing to watch out for with that is that they have a trail shoe that looks really tempting to try out called the Torrent. It's a really cool looking shoe. but it has the Race Day Pro Fly midsole, okay? So it's not like the Evo Mafate and the Speedgoat 3, which are fun for hiking and training. It's got that Race Day firm midsole, which is kind of hard on your feet. Now, the Pro Fly is bouncy. Some people might argue, well, the Pro Fly is actually kind of soft and squishy. It is a little, okay? I noticed a little bit of squish right here on the edges. There's a little bit of squish on the back, okay? And as you use the shoe, the Pro Fly foam will warm up and become softer and squishier as you use it. But when you first put it on, it isn't bouncy and squishy like the training foam, okay? So with Hoka, the training foam that you want for hiking is just called Hoka Soft EVA Foam. Now the problem with that is that they had a soft EVA foam during 2018 that became mushy. After like a month, the air would squeeze out of the Hoka EVA foam and the EVA foam would lose its loft and get compressed and end up feeling mushy. It didn't feel springy and bouncy and dreamy like Maximus Dream Foam should. So what Hoka ended up doing is they compressed their EVA foam before they put it into the shoe so that it doesn't get mushy. So the Evo Mafate 2 has an upgraded EVA foam, which is more resilient and doesn't get mushy in comparison to the first Evo Mafate. So the Evo Mafate 2 has a better Hoka foam than the Evo Mafate 1. All right. So yeah, that's the big issue, is that when you're dealing with shoes, sometimes you want to actually buy the unannounced brand. So like the third-party EVA foam called Pro Fly is not what you want. You actually want the unnamed Hoka EVA foam. You just want the regular EVA foam. And the Vibram lugs actually are not what you want. You actually just want the unnamed, the unmentionable lugs. So you just want regular old tough lugs, tough rubber lugs. You don't want Vibram lugs, and you want the regular old Hoka foam. You don't want the Pro Fly foam. So you actually want the materials that don't have a name and don't have any marketing. Those materials are actually better. All right. So as far as like an ultra lightweight shoe, this exact shoe is available in that cushiony version. It's called the Rincon. All right. And if you want to get a more go-to shoe with a wider toe box, you can get the Clifton 6. And if you want an even more comfortable shoe than that, you can get the Evo Mafate 2, but watch out, those spikes on the bottom are softer because they're made of Vibram and they're going to come off. Now, as far as the Speedgoat 3, what's really weird about that is that Salomon makes the Speed Pro, and the Speed Pro has got rubber soccer cleats on the bottom that come right off the shoe, okay? And so does the Speed Goat. So Salomon make the Speed Pro and Hoka make the Speed Goat. And they've got the same soccer cleats on the bottom of both shoes, okay? And the cleats are going to come off of both, but actually the Vibram soccer cleats that are on the Speed Goat are going to come off faster than the Tough Rubber soccer cleats that are on the Speed Pro, which is crazy, okay? Because they already come off super fast, all right? So, yeah, it's pretty confusing. But anyway, so I'm stuck with this one. As far as I know, the way that Hoka works is, you know, you get your shoes and you can wear them out. If you wear them out, you can go on your phone and you can hit the button that says, I changed my mind and I want to try a different pair of shoes. That allows you to get another pair of shoes for free, but you have to send them the shoes that you used. If the shoes that you ordered the second time are not what you wanted, you have to get your money back, okay? You're not allowed to get another pair of shoes for free. You have to just get your money back from Hoka and start over. At that point, you can kind of just bail out on Hoka and not even use it anymore, or you can use the money that they sent you to try something else, okay? So at this point, I have another shoe that I really like. It's the Olympus, it's the Ultra Olympus. I really like this one. This is heavier, obviously, but it's a much bigger shoe. But I really like it. It's my go-to. I've been going on hikes with it, and it works awesome. The other shoe that I really loved was the 2017 Hoka Kona Clayton that I sent back to Hoka, and now they have it, and I don't have it anymore. That was my favorite shoe, but I don't have it anymore, you know? And so I might just be getting my money back, which means that I might just be bailing on Hoka altogether, because with Ultra, they let you pile up your shoes. As you destroy each shoe, they let you have another one, so you end up like with a collection of them. They're all, you know, they're all wrecked, but you have like a collection of old used shoes from Ultra. Same thing with Salomon. If you wreck your shoes from Salomon, they let you have another one for free, and you end up like collecting them. You have a bunch of them, you know, and they're all wrecked. Hoka doesn't do that. Your only option is to get your money back, and so I might just not even have a pair of Hokas in a minute. After I get in touch with Hoka and send this back, I might just not have any, you know. The Rincon are really interesting. It's basically exactly the same thing. It's an ultra lightweight shoe with a soft cushiony foam. That's probably good, but it is $45 less, and I heard that the upper is not as fancy as on the Clayton, for instance, the Clayton 2. And then the Evo Mafate 2 has got those Vibram lugs that I don't want, so I'm probably not going to spend the money on that. It's like $160 or maybe even more. And then the Clifton 6 is an interesting shoe, but, you know, if I had to choose between the Clifton 6 and the Rincon, I would probably get the Rincon because it's named after an awesome surf spot and it's an ounce lighter, so not sure what to do. All right, let's go back in time just for a second. I just want to show you the Kona Clayton that I had. I absolutely was in love with this shoe. What I really loved about it was the R-Mat outsole and midsole and the ultra lightweight design of the shoe. It has a water resistant ultra lightweight upper. It's basically like a jersey material with like this Magnum PI Hawaiian shirt design on it, with the neon orange on the bottom. Here, I've had this shoe for at least 6 months. As you can see, the bottoms are pretty worn out, all right? So, you know, it's time to make the switch, but this was really my go-to shoe. What I really love about it most is that it's ultra lightweight, it's true to fit, water resistant, and I noticed that my foot really didn't suffer from fatigue after long hikes of more than 20 miles. You can see there's a little bit of wear and tear on the front right there. But, you know, the number one advantage of the Kona Clayton is that the entire midsole and outsole, which is this right here, is all one piece. It's all our mat. It's all whipped together in a blender. And I found it to be truly functional. I really liked hiking in it. I really felt comfortable after long distances. My left Achilles oftentimes suffers from a little, it's not injured, but it does start to burn and feel discomfort. And I felt much less discomfort in my feet after long hikes with this shoe.